Well, the guys showed up to dig the holes for the foundation. Gaskin's Moving Company. We've already done the digging. I'll show you here in a second what we got. Because the holes are this deep and the pad that David made was as high as it is, they need an engineering letter. So we're waiting for an engineer to come out, take a look at it, and assuming everything is okay, we should be getting some concrete poured here sometime soon.
It should be about sometime next week.
Sometime next week?
That's what he's on the phone with.
Okay. Well, the way things have been going, next week is soon. This is awesome. And here they got a skid steer with a drill on the end that they've been using to make the holes. So once the engineer's been here and assuming he gives the okay, then concrete will come out. Well, I was out earlier. I had to talk to Mr. Gaskins about what he needed before the trailer could be moved and stuff like that, so I've taken care of that. So here's the pad where Mr. Weems did all of his wonderful work, and they've made a mess of it. They've cleaned up a little bit around here, but you can see it's awfully ragged. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 holes for one little 12 by 54 foot trailer. My goodness. In any case, all of these holes will be filled in with concrete. Those will be the footers, as they call them. And then the trailer will be blocked up on those. And in any case, all of this dirt is going to have to be leveled again. All of these great big clumps of clay and whatnot that they pulled out when they were making the holes, that all needs to be busted up so that it lays flat. A lot of people wouldn't bother with any of that. My thing, though, is that I want water to drain out of there if there's ever a water leak or something like that. So little Bella will not chase a ball. She hates balls. She won't even go near them. She freaks out if they touch her. But watch this. Hey, Bella. Bella, look. See this big clod? She'll try to bite it and pick it up if she can. Gonna get it again? You are a funny little dog. Oh, you got it. Look at you. That's your clod of dirt, isn't it? Anyway, let's get this smoothed out a little bit. I'll set you up so you can watch. Well, whether it's true or not, I'm going to say that this is smoother than it was, at least. Maybe tomorrow I'll come out with a sledgehammer and bust up some of these big chunks that are sitting there and then rake out the rest. Sun's behind the ridge. It's a Friday night. I need at least an hour or two to do something relaxing. Maybe I'll go work on the next video. Ooh. rained yesterday, just enough to make it too sticky to come out and do any work in the dirt. It's dried up enough now that I can get out here and finish up this little bit of work. I'm going to spend some time pounding chunks of clay into smaller chunks of clay.
Girls, you gonna help me? Where's your thumbs? Huh? You had your thumbs if you help me. Thank you.
Some of this clay is amazing. It's as good as any brick that you would find anywhere, except it hasn't been fired, that's all. A lot of this stuff, you could just pick it up out of the ground and fire it, and it would be as good as any brick. What did you find, little Bella? What's in there? Hey, what's in there? Is there something you want in there? You want this cloud of dirt? Oh yeah, that's what you want. You want that cloud of dirt, don't you? Yeah, there's the dog who hates balls. What I'm doing here is really just a surface thing, busting up all of the clods of clay. There's a hydration cycle that happens just from the humidity in the air between daytime and nighttime, what kind of weather's going on. The clay will get hydrated, which causes the clay to swell up a little bit, assuming that it's loose enough to swell and not bonded too tightly to itself. So when the clay swells up a little bit from the moisture, it breaks some of the bonds between the clay particles. Then when it dehydrates, all that water evaporates out of there and leaves a more porous structure there. And each time that that happens, it tends to break the clay apart a little bit. Eventually it'll break down until it's a hard pack. Basically on its own, you don't have to even pack it in if you're willing to wait. It'll get hard like that. So the other interesting thing that happens in the winter, we do have a month or two where it gets cold enough to freeze. We don't have to put our water pipes down any more than 18 inches, but it does freeze on the surface. And what happens is a forest of little icicles grows up from the solid clay and lofts a bunch of soft stuff on top of that. So when everything melts, you end up with this nice, smooth, fluffy layer of soil on top. It's trying really hard to rain right now. I want to run a rake over this once before it gets too wet, so I'm going to get to work. I might have been too slow. I'm going to set you up under the carport here and see if I can get out there and at least smooth a little bit of the worst parts. Well, I did get that raked up a little bit. You can see what's coming off the roof of the shop here. It has rained a little bit, enough to make the soil sticky and get the dog's feet all mucky. I got this raked out. Let me turn you around. I got this raked out well enough that I'm maybe not completely happy, but there'll be some work that gets done on this after the concrete is poured and cured anyway. We'll get this leveled out a little bit better before they set the trailer. It is definitely raining. My lens is getting fucky from it. So I think it's time to head home. Go for a short walk in the pasture and then go home. Whew. Oh boy. It's coming down now. Head for shelter, hey puppies. I think we'll wait for a minute before we do our walk in the pasture. The dog's feet need cleaning before we go home anyway, that's for sure. Wow, it's coming down even harder now. Big raindrops and a little bit of a breeze. So you can see that the water is draining out that way. Got a tiny little bit of work to do just to clean that up a bit and make it so it drains a little bit more evenly, but I'm happy with what it does right now anyway. I'm happy with that. And the tractor is finally getting a little bit of a wash. Yay for the tractor. It's not quite as dusty on the outside now. The rain keeps ebbing and flowing, but this is Armin's technique for getting the dog's feet at least clean enough that I can let him get in the truck. Walking around in the grass seems to work pretty good. I had to get a shot of this. I'm back in town now, not out at the farm because it's kind of wet out there. These clouds look a little bit turbulent. This is what fall weather is like here. We have sun and then we have this. Well, that's how the storms roll in here. We'll get rained on for a little while, getting heavy, and then it'll stop again. Here. Looks like a concrete truck. Looks like they just finished pouring. There's our footers. Well, this is good to see. It's going to take a couple weeks for these to cure, especially with the rain we had yesterday. The holes held up really well against the rain, but of course they're pretty saturated, which also is good because that helps the concrete cure better. I'm going to let these set for a couple of days. I just found a shovel here. Hang on. I got that little shovel taken care of. We're pretty excited. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, I need to trench in the sewer and electricity and water. Get all the pipe laid and get all those trenches filled back in and packed in. And we will be ready for the trailer. I guess I should get back to work now, otherwise they're going to wonder where I disappeared to. And I have to go off site. This is how I set up. I've got the phone set as a hotspot and the laptop uses that to connect to the internet, and I can actually get some work done while I'm out at the farm. But I think instead I'm going to go back to the house and work from there.